see. Well, it just sounds to me like you better get him in here as fast as you can. Yeah, Dr. Martin. Right, he'll be here.
What a morning. I haven't even had a cup of coffee yet.
Well, you can forget lunch, too. I have had at least 5 phone calls from people who are on their way in, plus the regulars and the walk-ins. I guess we'll just be working straight through.
Well, it seems like I've already seen a whole day's worth of cuts, bruises, scratches, infections.
I know what you mean. It's a terrible day to be short-handed. I owns at the custody hearing. Russ just called. He'll be in later.
Well, is there any sign of Dave?
Nope. You want me to call him?
No. He'll be in soon enough.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just sit down over there. I'll be with you as soon as I can. Morning. Dr.
Good morning, Lucy. I see you and Ben started without me.
Oh, well, not that we wanted to. I was beginning to wonder if you were going to make it in here.
And leave all this excitement to us.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry I'm late. I had to stop by the hospital to see Terry.
Wait, the hospital? Did you hear anything about Nancy's condition?
What do you suppose Doc Feldman is saying to that judge, anyway?
Well, the truth, I hope.
Yeah, considering he's one of Meyer's witnesses, it's not going to do Miriam much good, I'm sure.
Oh, sweetheart, time will tell. Why don't you come and sit down?
Yeah. Hello there, Mrs. Lucas. Doing any snooping lately? Miriam has told me so much about you.
Oh, Babs, what am I gonna do with you?
That's a good question. I could give you a suggestion, madam.
Why, you British twit. I ought...
Margaret Lucas,
Yes, I'm Margaret Lucas.
come with me, please.
If you'll excuse me.
I hope you heard something. He's called the hospital twice already. I'm going to check on Miss Tucker.
Well, she's the same as before, Ben. Nancy's in serious but stable condition.
Yeah, that's what Alex said this morning on the phone.
Well, count it a blessing. She hasn't developed any complications since the surgery.
Yeah, but how would I know? I'm barred from the hospital.
Well, Alex and I will keep you posted.
I don't want to be posted. Nancy is my patient. I'm the one who should be following her progress.
I agree, but for the time being, that's the way it's got to be.
Alex said she opened her eyes a couple of times this morning.
Yeah, she did. It's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a very good sign. That's why I should be there checking on her, making sure the trachea is healing properly.
You're not worried that some complication might develop?
I don't know. If it does, esophageal speech will have to be considered.
Right, it's something that Nancy will object to, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. And especially when she's so confused with having a different doctor come in and examine her every day.
Well, Alex is still there.
Yes, but Lester's threatened to suspend him from the hospital because of me.
But don't worry about Lester. You know how he is. Just give him a little time to get over this.
Yeah, I've given him long enough, Dave.
Yeah, by your standards. But look at it this way. By the time Nancy has recuperated, he'll offer you your job back on staff because of the wonderful job you've done.
Give me back my job on the staff. Haha, fat chance.
Oh, are we talking about Scrooge's twin brother, Lester Lewis, again?
Now, how could you tell?
Just a hunch. I'm still waiting on Miss Tucker.
Yeah. Just the same, Ben, I think that you should ask his permission to see Nancy again.
I wouldn't. Why ask the old grouch? Just march right in during visiting hours.
What?
Visiting hours. Read my lips. The time to drop in to see how your Aunt Nancy's doing.
Place your hand on the Bible and raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you give in the case now pending is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please be seated.
You may proceed, Mr. Myers.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mrs. Lucas, you aren't nervous, are you?
No, of course not, sir.
That's good, good. Because I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Me?
Yes, now, you are currently Mr. Carpenter's housekeeper, is that right?
That's correct.
And by whom were you employed before Mr. Carpenter hired you?
The Barringtons of Cambridge.
The Barringtons. Now, that would be Saunders Barrington of Payne and Barrington Industries, right?
Yes.
And for how long were you in their employ?
15 years.
That's a long time. Were you the housekeeper there as well?
I was the head housekeeper and governess to the twins.
The twins?
Yes, Everett and Tyler.
Uh-huh.
They were in my charge from the time they were 3 years old until they went off to university. And I enjoyed every day of it.
Oh, I'm sure you did. So, you're a capable housekeeper, experienced in raising children. Mr. Carpenter must find you invaluable.
Well, it's a pleasure to work for him.
You get along very well with him, do you?
Oh, definitely. Oh, and you should see how well he and Eric get along.
Objection, Your Honor. Ms. Lucas is
Objection sustained. Mrs. Lucas, would you please address yourself only to the questions at hand?
I'm sorry. I
Oh, no,
just
no, no.
wanted
That's quite all right, Miss Lucas. Now, since you are experienced in raising children professionally, would you please tell the court what is your opinion of the relationship between young Eric and Charles Carpenter?
Well, Eric's told me himself just how wonderful he thinks his grandfather is. He loved to go to the office with Mr. Carpenter. And then he would take his grandfather upstairs to his room and show him all the marvelous things he'd learned on his computer. Mr. Carpenter bought him all those electronics, you know.
Now, would you say that there is a genuine love between the two of them?
Oh, definitely. In more ways than that.
Could you explain that to the court, please?
Well, when Mrs. Mason, first took Eric away, I could see how difficult it was for Mr. Carpenter. Sometimes he would just go into Eric's room. Oh, the poor man. He missed him terribly. It was almost as if he was mourning the loss of a dear one. And I'll tell you something else, Mr. Myers, if I may.
As long as it is pertinent to the question at hand.
I miss Eric, too.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucas. Your witness, counselor.
Ms. Lucas, can I ask you something? Did Eric actually use all of those electronics, I think you called them, that Mr. Carpenter bought for him?
I don't know what you mean.
Did Eric play with every single one of those gadgets that Mr. Carpenter gave him?
Not all at once. There was too many of them.
Oh, too many? Too many. Did you actually ever hear Ms. Mason say to Mr. Carpenter that she thought perhaps he was buying Eric's affections with so many devices?
Oh, she was just jealous of their closeness, I could tell.
Ms. Lucas, just answer the question. Did you hear Ms. Mason say that she thought her father was lavishing gifts upon her son?
Yes.
And that she was afraid that he might spoil the boy?
Oh,
And that she thought that the gifts were for the purpose of confusing him? Weren't they, in fact, to try to keep the boy staying here instead of going back to England with his father?
Objection, Your Honor. Counselor is trying to draw a conclusion from the witness.
Objection sustained. Would you care to change your line of questioning, Mr. Webster?
No. Thank you, Your Honor. I'm through.
The witness may be excused.
Harold, don't let her walk away. Ask her something.
Miriam, please. Trust me. Just trust me.
Visit my Aunt Nancy. Now, why didn't I think of that?
And you know what? I've got to get Wilcard over there. Shoot, I'll even sign the thing. And flowers, guaranteed to make a sick patient feel better.
I think a card and flowers would be very nice.
Are those to help you seem less conspicuous when you look at our chart?
You get a good peek at it as soon as the coast is clear.
Well, how else am I going to see her, Dave?
Through proper channels as a doctor-patient.
No, haven't you been listening? It'll never happen that way.
Look, you're just asking for more trouble from Lester.
All I'm going to do is just visit my wife's aunt. He can't stop me from doing that.
It seems that neither can I.
Will you check on Mrs. Tucker for me? I won't be long.
You're going now?
Yeah, I don't want to put this thing off. Have you got that card, Lucille?
Yeah, just a minute. Love, Lucille. Oh. Anything you want to say?
No, thanks. I think I'll leave this to you and Inspector Clouseau.
All right, there you go. You can stop by that florist next to the hospital. They've got some carnations waiting for you.
Thanks.
Will you lighten up? Okay, Miss Tucker's ready for you, I hope.
Okay, I'll be right in.
Prescott Development.
Gil, this is Dave Phillips. Can I see you sometime today?
Dr. Phillips, I'm afraid I'm pretty busy today.
But it's important.
Yes, I'm sure it is, but I have appointments back to back all morning.
Well, why not this afternoon?
No, that's not good either. I have to go out to the site.
I see.
Look, why don't you give me a call later on in the weekend and we'll work it out.
Gil, you know what I have to talk to you about.
Yes, sir, I do. Look, I got a call coming in on the other line. I'll be sure to get back to you. Bye.
What's the use? Nobody wants me around anymore. Nobody. Why don't you just write me off? I mean, you've been writing me off since I was born. It's just not worth it anymore.
How's she doing?
Sleeping a lot.
Here, I brought these for her.
Oh, very pretty. I'll put them over here.
Could I see her alone, Karen?
Well, she needs to be monitored. Dr. Greeley wants to know when she wakes up again.
It'll just be for a little while. I'll let you know if she wakes up.
Well, all right. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, thank you. Don't talk. Don't try and talk at all, you understand? You were in an accident, do you remember? You were on your way back to the clinic. Your car ran into the side of a bridge. You remember now? Nancy, why didn't you stay at the Castaway? Russ and I were coming to get you. No, don't talk. You don't have to answer that. Don't talk. I know it hurts. I had to perform a tracheotomy before we brought you in. See, you couldn't breathe at all. You were in surgery for quite a while. Your larynx was messed up, and, well, that's why you're having difficulty speaking. So don't even try at all. And don't. You can't touch this. Don't touch it. And what you feel is a tube I had to put inside your windpipe. Okay? Don't mess with that, because if that gets blocked with mucus, you could very easily cough it up. So let it alone, relax. You're going to have to get lots of sleep.
What are you doing here, Dr. Martin?
Dr. Phillips.
Sorry, but I decided to fit myself into your schedule instead of waiting for you to do it.
Look, I'm on my way to the site. Can't this wait?
No, and if I have to, I'll go along with you. Thanks.
Look, let's make this quick, okay? I gotta get to the site.
It isn't that simple.
What, to tell me what a jerk I am?
Look, I didn't come here for that.
What do you want me to say? I'm sorry? Okay, I'm sorry. But there's nothing I can do. I'm no longer a part of Amber's life.
It seems to me you're a part of it now more than ever. Didn't you even talk to her about the baby?
Yeah, long enough for her to tell me to stay away. And believe me, Dr. Phillips, that's exactly what I plan to do.
Do you really? Didn't she even mention what she's planning to do with this child?
Yeah.
And?
And what? I told you, I'm not a part of her life anymore.
Look, the life that she's carrying inside of her, your son, your daughter, could be destroyed. Now, do you really want that to happen?
Dr. Phillips, you know Amber. Nobody can tell her anything. Have you ever been able to?
No, I couldn't get through to her, and that's why I'm here.
See, I told you.
Look, you were right. But that's because I was telling her what to do. But it's time she was asked. And you're the person to ask her.
Ask her? Ask her what?
To marry you.
What am I doing here? This is my wife's aunt, and I'm visiting her. I believe it... Yes, it's still visiting hours.
Can I see you in the hall?
I'll be right back.
I'll have you removed from this hospital by force if necessary.
I wasn't breaking
I
any...
made it clear that you were not this patient's doctor.
Yes, I
Yet
know
here
that.
you are, back again. You keep it up, Dr. Martin. I'll have you before the Board of Medical Examiners.
Lester, if you'd just let me explain...
About how you may be injuring the impeccable reputation of this hospital, go right ahead. I'd like to hear it. In my office.
Listen, I'm going to come back a little later, and I'll check on you then. Just rest. Try and get lots of sleep, okay?
But I own money talks, and Chuck has been throwing a lot of bills around here ever since this case started.
Sweetheart, he can't buy justice.
No, but he can buy a sharp-toothed lawyer like Dan Myers.
Oh, but we got Harold Webster. And I wouldn't want any other lawyer for hire.
Yeah, Harold knows his legal stuff pretty good. I just hope his common sense doesn't get buried underneath it all.
Well, now maybe you should become a lawyer.
Did I ever tell you I've been thinking about that?
About being a lawyer?
Yeah. I mean, I got my shorthand down pat. I can type like crazy now. You know, why stop there? I could just keep going right on up.
Oh, wouldn't that be something? You working side by side with Harold Webster.
Yeah. It would be neat, huh? I mean, I figured we'd have just tons of stuff in common, and we could discuss all kinds of important things like briefs, and ex post facto, and all that stuff.
Ex post facto. Now, I've heard that before, but just what does that mean?
Well, it means like, you know, ex post facto. I mean, I could explain it to you, but I would get involved in a lot of legal jargon and everything, and, Hey, wait a minute. What did you tell that judge in there?
I beg your pardon.
I beg your pardon.
Sweetheart, is just as well because we shouldn't be discussing the case anyway.
Oh, the old poop. Probably couldn't have gotten anything out of her anyway. Hey, she was Myers' last witness. That means Harold's going to start cross-examining pretty soon. You're probably going to get called any minute.
Barbara Farley?
Huh?
Are you Barbara Farley?
Well, yeah, but Harold didn't
Would you
want me
come
to...
this way, please?
Mary, Amber, you're out of your mind.
It's an option you should both seriously consider.
You don't know your daughter, do you? I mean, we're actually at each other's throats now.
I know that she's emotionally upset because of this pregnancy.
So you want a shotgun wedding, right? I mean, where's that coming from? This is 1983.
I'm only saying that two intelligent people like you and Amber could rationally work this out if you wanted to.
She'd laugh in my face just before she slammed the door in it.
You'll never know unless you try.
Look, Dr. Phillips, whatever Amber and I had is dead.
And the baby will be too unless you stop her.
Well, I must admit, I haven't given much thought to the child. I'm not even sure if I want it.
Well, you better start thinking about it. Look, Amber is my daughter. I love her. And I want to do everything I can to help her.
Look, can't we just drop this for now?
No, we can't. I want you to see where you're standing.
I know where I stand.
Do you? What's going on between you and Stacy?
Now, wait a minute.
No, you wait a minute. Look, you may think I'm old-fashioned because I'm trying to save the life of your child. But at least I didn't sleep with one woman and then try to get her sister...
All right, now hold it. My relationship with Stacy isn't anything like it was with Amber. Now, I really care for her. She's important to me. Now, even though it isn't any of your business, I haven't made love to her. I don't want to hurt her.
Then don't. Be responsible for your actions. Show her that you care more for this life than you do for your own.
Are you sure you mean me?
You are Barbara Farley.
Yeah.
Right through here, then. They're waiting.
Ione, what is going on? This isn't... I was supposed to be called.
Babs, now you just do like he says. And remember, whatever they ask you, you be sure and tell the truth.
Yeah, if I can remember.
Oh, dear Lord, give her the words.
Harold, what is Babs doing in here? I didn't think you were calling her as a witness.
No, I'm not. Your defense hasn't started yet.
Your Honor, I'd like for my next witness, Barbara Farley, to be sworn in.